Hello everyone, it's Justine. Today I'm going to be making a card using the Layered Floral Card Creator die. That's this one, and I'm going to use also part of the stamp set that's called Diamond and Arch Motif Stamp Set. So this is the motif, this would be the diamond, and this is all part of the monthly subscriptions from Spellbinders. So the die that's called Layered Floral Card Creator is part of the die of the month, and then this stamp is a part of the clear stamp of the month. And I also have the coordinating dies here, so I stamped it and I have the little dies that go with it to cut out the stamped images and sentiments. So I love having a stamped sentiment that has a die cut out. I think it just looks extra sweet and cute. So I always opt for using those if a stamp set has them. So just to dive into the actual die, we have this main piece that looks kind of like this. It's almost like a little rectangle, but a little bit of some organic shapes going on there with the florals, but it's kind of a good size to use either one on a card like this. I'll just use some paper here. Don't mind the color choices here, but you could use one kind of like this, which is what I'm going to do today, and have a sentiment on the bottom, or you could go ahead and turn it. And let's see if I can just pick this up gently without moving things too crazily. And you could have two on a card. You could do it like that. You could rotate them and have it be kind of this big floral area. So I think that's why they call it the card creator, because you can make a full card with this one die. So let's just go through the parts. We have that main piece. We have the big flower, which is made up with these three pieces. And I also used this one with the big one. And then the smaller flower has similar dies. These all just layer up to make one really pretty flower. Then I used the big circle behind the little flower. I didn't use the little circle. I guess I could, but I don't have it planned out here. And then again, I didn't use this one, but you can to make different flowers. I used this leaf die to cut out that. And then there's this bell-shaped flower here, and then some pieces that make the center part for the bell. And then there's this little sprig area that comes out with these little bubbles, and I have those here. So lots of pieces, but they're beautiful. So I'm just going to clean up my area real quickly and join you again with all of my little pieces lined up. Okay, first I'm going to work on this main background area. I cut out two of these because honestly I couldn't decide on which one to use, and then I thought, what if I used both of them and just offset it a little to have a light shadow behind it? I think that that's what I'm going to do. I think it will look cool with the black paper on the back, just kind of like that. So first I'm going to glue those two pieces together. For the liquid glue that I'm using today, it will of course be my Barely Art liquid glue. It's my favorite, and you can buy it on the Spellbinders website and use your creative rewards points, and it's pretty reasonable. Dries clear, has the good tip, has a little pin to keep it from drying out. I just love it. Now that my piece has glue on it, I will just use my reverse tweezers and put it on my light blue paper. But again, I'm offsetting it just a little bit, so I'm not going to look for the perfect lining up of these two pieces. I'm just going to kind of slide it, which is another good thing about using liquid glue, is it's not going to stick instantly. You have a second to slide it around if you want, which I would like to do today. Good. It's not perfect, and that's what I'm kind of going for, so great. Let's move on. I'm going to start with maybe these leaves, and just get those on. I used all scraps to make this, all my blue pieces here, because I am looking to kind of clear out my scrap area. So a good way to kind of start making a monochrome card, which is just kind of like a one-tone, kind of like one color card, is to go to your scrap areas. If you organize them by colors, it makes it so easy to do this. You want a blue card, go to your blue area, then find your blue colors that kind of look nice to you, and then just start die cutting. See what looks good together, and all of a sudden you've made a card with your scraps, and instead of throwing them away, you've made something really fun. Plus, you can give cards to people, and that usually makes people happy, or it brightens their day a little. So it's nice. Instead of throwing things away, use up those scraps. I know that there's some people who are huge on saving scraps. I mean, I like saving scraps, but again, I can't save every single piece, but I do try to use up what I get. So it's kind of a balance, I guess. Then I wanted to pull in some white, so I die cut out these little circles with white paper because I wanted them to coordinate with my sentiment that I cut out in white. So I'm going to leave the circle to be, the missing part of the circle to be on the top of where the flower would be growing. And I should have thought about my glue placement a little bit better, but I'm just going to swipe it down and enough will catch for the paper to stick. If you haven't looked at the monthly subscriptions from Spellbinders this month, I definitely would check those out. I do have that linked in the description, and you can also just find it on the Spellbinders website too. But the subscriptions this month are really unique. There's the card kit this month is pretty fun. It's not super girly. It's kind of more in the neutrals. It has to do with camping. I think it is just awesome. So check it out. Now, doing these layered flowers, I like to put them, as I would like to see them laid out in a little stack. And then as I'm assembling them, I put them in a line like this. I'm going to start at the top and then glue next section, next section, next section. That way I know what I am, like the order, if you will. Otherwise I forget and craft, and then usually either I make a mistake or whatever. But again, these are handmade cards. They're not perfect, so if I make a mistake, I give a little forgiveness to myself there, and it's just fine. But this definitely makes it easier when I lay it out like this in order. Some things I grab my reverse tweezers for, some of the more delicate things like this, or I use my gem picker, but I kind of like the way that this is turning out here. I'm not being super precise with the glue because I know that enough will catch onto the paper that it will stick, plus it will dry clear, so I'm not concerned about the glue really at all. And I think I might put a little bling in the center of the flowers, but I'm not quite sure yet. I guess we'll just see. That's the top, the next section. And here we go. Here's the big flower. Now, I'm just using the little thank you from the stamp set, but there is quite a lot of pretty things on there. That diamond arch, and the diamond and the arch are just gorgeous. I'm using that on another card that's kind of purples and pinks, so if you're interested in seeing that, you can go ahead and check that out on my channel. But if you've never subscribed to anything from Spellbinders and you're maybe considering it, kind of think, do you like dies better? Are you more of a glimmer person, a stamp person, a card kit person? Just kind of see, what do you usually craft with? And chances are you'll probably like what you get in the subscription, because they're just so interesting. Every month it's something different. Or you can kind of look at it in a different way. And maybe you've never really taken out that glimmer machine that you bought on a sale once and think, I really want to try it, but I don't really have that many glimmer plates, and I don't know, maybe I'm not really wanting to glimmer, but you have the machine. Maybe you should subscribe to the Glimmer Plate of the Month, because then you can build up your glimmer plates and you will all of a sudden start liking it. It's weird how this happens. When you have options, it just becomes easier. Same with like the wax seals. If you're not someone who typically likes to try new things, try the wax seals. They're just fun. I have had such a good time playing around with the wax seals and the glimmer machine. But it really wasn't until I subscribed to the Glimmer of the Month that I decided that I really liked glimmering, because I had more options. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. If not, that's what just worked for me. I like having options, and the subscriptions are so different, but they're always something that I like. But if they are something that you're not really into, maybe you're not a gnome person and the stamp set is a gnome or something, you can opt out. You just have to do that before the 6th of the month. But if you have questions, or you're maybe just wondering more about the subscriptions in general, I will link in the description of this video the link that they have on their actual website. They did a very thorough Q&A little article on their website about the subscriptions, and honestly, I don't think they missed anything. So if you have questions, I would check that out, and that should really help kind of guide you through any questions you might have. So you might be wondering, okay, you're just chatting, but what are you doing? I am right now layering up my sentiment for my card. So I really like this little mini trimmer. It's by Tonic, Tim Holtz, you know the drill. And it's perfect for cutting little things like this. Yes, I could use my little scissors, but sometimes it's just not straight when I do that, and I would like this to be straight. After die cutting out and gluing, I want this to be nice. So I like to do some layers for my sentiments, and this little trimmer is perfect. And there we go. So now these blue scraps will go in, but I pulled out so many blue scraps for this card that just having this go back in is, like, to me, a win. I used my scraps. I made a pretty card. So, hooray. Okay, now I'm just going to check that my card's going to open this way. I've made several cards that open the wrong way. To fix that, you could just go with it and give someone an upside down card. If that's not your thing, okay, great. You don't have to do that, but you could also just take your paper trimmer, cut off this area, and flip it over, put it on another card base, and then just have this white scrap. It's up to you. Really, it's not the end of the world, but don't throw away your beautiful card if you put it on upside down. It's just kind of a waste in my book, but, to each their own. You might hear a train in the background. Sorry. That's just part of life in my town. Anyway, now that I have the glue in the background, I'm just going to flip it over and I'm going to center this as best as I can, like so. Give it a little press. Then I'm going to find some foam squares and pop up my sentiment in the center. I'm going to use some foam squares that I have left over from a card kit, and it'll be perfect. I always use up the waffle area of the foam squares because they do the same thing that the actual squares do. They're just not square, but they definitely lift things up. So I'm going to place this kind of in the middle here and just give it a little press. Make sure everything's nice and stuck. And I think I will put a little bling on this one. Let's consult the bling basket. Ooh, those would have been really pretty if I would have done gold in the background. Huh. Next time. I think I'm going to use up some of these. I have these left over from the Damask Daydream card kit. I bought it again when it was on mega clearance, and I think I got it this summer again, but it was the card kit of the month from sometime in 2021. But they are just super blingy gemstones, and I love that. Plus they already have glue on the back, or adhesive if you will, on the back, so I don't have to worry about adding glue. Oh, I love that. Perfect. Perfectly imperfect, I guess. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end here. If you've liked the card, go ahead and hit the like button, or been inspired, I guess, from anything I've done. And subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. I will have a few more videos on the monthly subscriptions for this month of November, but if you're not interested in the subscription, still check out my channel. I do have several videos of card making. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!